This is the Reds Down Under podcast, the best place to follow the Reds in Australia. Enjoy the show.
We are the Reds Down Under, and this is our podcast.
Welcome to Reds Down Under podcast, your weekly Liverpool fan pod here in Australia. I'm Tom. I've been here in Australia for 6 years. And this is Jack, my brother.
I'm his brother. I've been here slightly longer. And we are the league champions.
We are the league champions, mate. We'll get into it.
Yeah.
We'll get into it. There's some things I wanted to talk about before we get going. Let people know what we're going to be touching base on.
Yeah.
We're obviously going to be touching base on us lifting the Premier League title.
Yeah.
Which is just the sexiest
Can't get over it.
thing ever.
How good does it look with the red ribbons?
Yeah, it looks really good. I almost I can't believe it still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't feel the same.
But we will get to it, of course we will. We'll talk about the trophy parade, which is, again, just looked like the best party anyone's ever been to.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that incident
Yeah.
that happened with the car, which is absolutely fucking shocking.
Yeah. Yeah. Still can't believe that, but yeah.
Absolutely shocking, wasn't it? We'll talk about transfers because Liverpool have signed...
They're in the business, aren't they?
Liverpool are in the business, yeah. They're doing the bee's knees, which is nice to see. It's really nice to see. It's a little bit of a return to sort of what we were like maybe 3 or 4 years ago when we signed players. We've got a new little section called It's a Fact, which is from Rafa Benitez. Obviously from Rafa Benitez. And it's just a pretty pointless, useless fact. But you will be that much more educated and entertained.
You can use it in your own lives.
Yeah, use it in your own wives. Tell your family.
In your own wives.
Moving on swiftly. We're also going to do our player of the season. Which is, it's not necessarily the best player. Because let's be honest, spoiler alert, that'd be Mo Salah.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a player that for us, if you took them out the team, would just the team just completely wouldn't tick the same way that it does.
Yeah.
Obviously, Salah is the obvious pick.
Yeah. Mo, if you're watching, when I'm having a dig at you.
Yeah, Mo, you are amazing.
You've got enough. You've got enough.
Yeah, you've won enough. And hopefully...
The Ballon d'Or.
Hopefully he wins the Ballon d'Or if Dembele doesn't get in because he won that Champions League.
Yeah.
And we will also talk about this. So for people who are listening on Spotify, this is not as sexy for you, but for people who are watching it on YouTube, I'm holding the 2008-2009 home shirt signed by... How do I open it? Signed by Steven Gerrard, Jamie Carragher, Carragher Mascherano,
Fernando Torres.
and El Nino, Fernando Torres. So if you want to win that signed shirt in a box, yeah, it's in like a presentation box. It's all official and everything. It's lovely, isn't it?
You haven't done these signatures
No, I haven't done the signatures, no. Yeah.
It's a nice box anyway.
Yeah, it's a nice box, yeah.
Yeah, so if you want to win that,
Get on Instagram. Get on Instagram. It's at the top of our feed. You go on the post, you tag 3 people, you put us in your story, and give us a follow, obviously. So there you go.
Beautiful.
Reds, thanks so much for your support so far with the podcast. Last week's podcast was our first podcast where we ticked over 1,000 views.
Oh, really? Yeah?
Yeah.
Give it up.
So that's huge for us.
Yeah.
So thank you so much to everyone who bothers to listen to us.
Appreciate it.
Every week.
Yeah.
Our target, I'm being quite transparent about our target. Our target is to hit 5,000 weekly viewers, which I think is totally doable. So if there's a Red out there who you know doesn't listen to the podcast, send it on to them. Put it on your story on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, it makes a difference. Makes a huge difference.
Help us grow, yeah. Because the more people we get, the more fun shit we can do, really, to be honest with you.
Can I, and I would delve in a bit quickly, anyone who's watching this who hadn't watched the podcast before.
Oh yeah, new people, yeah. I always forget we get
the new people. Yeah. The people who we met in Cheers Bar.
Yeah, Jimmy and Andre.
Let's get straight into Cheers Bar.
All right, before we get into Cheers Bar, I have to thank Red Boat Ventures because they're amazing.
Course, yeah, Red Boat.
Like, they really helped us out with the kit, logistics. They do video animation, live action, loads of stuff with AI, which, by the way, I'm really getting into at the minute.
Mr. AI.
Yeah, because I don't start my new job until next week, so I'm sitting at home learning about AI.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, there's only one thing I can say to Red Boat. Cheers.
Yeah.
Bar.
Let's talk about Cheers then, because...
Oh, what a night, man. What a night.
When some people were in Liverpool watching it live, Max was over there, obviously. Yeah. Corey was over there. Hiya, Corey, mate. Thanks for supporting. Jed was over there. Loads of people who listen to the podcast were there. An unbelievable amount of people were there, but we weren't. So we were in Cheers Bar.
Which was the next best thing, really.
Which was the next best thing, because I said this because unless you were in the stadium watching us win the league, you were in a pub anyway.
Yeah, that's it.
How would you describe Cheers Bar on the night?
Just a sea of red, wasn't it, when we walked in?
Yeah.
So we got there about 11 o'clock, didn't we?
Yeah, maybe, around that, yeah.
And we'd had a couple before we went in there, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
We walked in, the atmosphere was going. What was the guy's name playing the guitar?
Harry Lambert.
Harry Lambert.
Very good.
Excellent, absolutely
very,
excellent.
Very good, isn't he?
Very
good.
To see everyone in red, you know, we love to see the lasses with the red scarves on.
Yeah.
But we walked in, it was the atmosphere in there was just brilliant. It felt like it was just a party from the off anyway.
Yeah. Everyone was in a great mood for the start.
Everyone was in a great mood. We had a table booked through... Who's the lady who sorted that for us?
Vanessa.
Vanessa.
Oh, Vanessa, by the way, at Cheers Bar. Absolute legend.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. But we got up there and then already on the table was Reds Down on the podcast. And there was just people stood around the table.
Which, to be honest, I felt like a little bit of an arsehole because there was people there.
Yeah.
And Vanessa was like, oh, excuse me, this table's reserved. And they were like, oh, all right, moved away. And we came in with our little Reds Down Under t-shirts on.
Yeah, which will be available soon on Instagram. But so we get in there, we had a few drinks. Everyone, obviously, we had these t-shirts on. Mine is still absolutely caked in beer.
Yeah.
It's not washing out. But the next round of t-shirts we make, we definitely will.
Yeah.
But just the atmosphere was brilliant in there. The smiles on everyone's faces, and it's a bit hard, especially on a Sunday, to get yourself up for something like that.
It was weird, wasn't it?
Because, as you know, the fellow Aussies and expats who live out here, you know, we all get up really early, we all go to bed really early. So that was a tough task. But yeah, couldn't thank Cheers enough. Everyone in there, everyone was really respectful. And what was great was there was Charlton fans in there.
Yeah.
A guy who I know from working with him a few years ago. Yeah. There's Newcastle fans in there because obviously it's hard for us. It's the day we picked the trophy up. But obviously there was a lot of games going on still, and a lot of fans who were riding on those big things. Yeah. Fortunately, every fan who was in there was from a fan base that came out with something good from it.
Yeah.
So
well, the Charlton lads were buzzing, weren't they?
Yeah.
Obviously,
the Newcastle lads
they got promoted. Loads of Newcastle fans, and to be fair to Newcastle fans, they were buzzing for us, weren't they?
Yeah.
They were buzzing for us. Met loads of great people, which sort of we have been Cheers Bar before for the game, obviously, but I think now I'm going to try and make it a lot more of a regular thing.
100%.
Because I'm not going to be I've been working in construction the last 6 months, so my next job is not construction. It's back in video work. I think it's going to give me a bit more flexibility.
Yeah, to be able to go.
So I'll try and get down on more of those games.
Yeah, and also it was strange. We were all celebrating, and then just appeared was mist, wasn't it?
A flare. It was.
I wouldn't call it a flare. There was a red mist.
There was a red mist.
There's a
smoky red mist.
Smoky red mist. That smelled a bit. But it wasn't pyro. I don't know what it was. I don't know if someone was vaping in there or what it was.
Yeah.
But it went off when it went off.
Yeah.
And it went off very, very, very near to us, which was great. And it wasn't us. Completely wasn't us. It wasn't anyone we were with. and it was brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't think anyone thought it was us, but now it sounds like you feel guilty on the...
It does, doesn't it?
On the internet,
It does sound like it, but it wasn't. It actually wasn't.
The whole...
But sorry, it made for a great video, because Tom and I have got our arms around each other, just absolutely buzzing, cheering about the fact it's Lift the Cup Day, Lift the Trophy Day, and then this flare just goes off next to us, so it made that video
an alleged flare. But yeah, just everyone was just in a great mood, and you know what happened? I went downstairs to go and shoot some content. You know, we were putting it up on our story when we throughout the night, which they're still on our highlights now on Instagram, so you can go up and I think the name of the highlight is Aussie Reds, and so I was shooting content all the time, and there was a group of lads, and I sort of like bumped into them a little bit, and just got chatting to them a little bit, and whatever, and they were like, "Oh, Red's down on the podcast," and I was like, "Oh yeah," and they were like, "Oh, I've heard of that," which I didn't know whether he did or he was just being nice, right? Which is so possible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, I go upstairs, and the fella next to me goes, "Oh, that fella there, the fella you were talking to, that's Tom Jenkins, that. Who you probably won't know because you're not a rugby league fan, but he plays for Penrith."
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I was just completely pissed out my head.
Tom Jenkins a Red anyway?
Yeah.
So we'll have to get him on.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's like, what an opportunity, mate.
Oh, wow.
And then I watched the Penrith game yesterday with Chelsea. She's a Penrith fan. And I was like, every time we got the ball, I was like, "Oh, Tom Jenkins, the fucking Penrith Red," and all this. Yeah. But Cheers Bar was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
Cheers Bar was amazing.
Bastard of a hangover on Monday.
Yeah, we were meant to play a bit of FIFA, weren't we?
Yeah, that went out the window. But yeah, it was worth it. It was a hangover that was worth it. The night was brilliant. Good to see. Obviously, I've got friends who were there, who were from home, and then to meet loads of new friends. It was really just a cracking night. So yeah, thank you to Cheers for having us.
Yeah.
Thanks for everyone who... A lot of people took a lot of time to, you know, have conversations with us and give us a follow, and there was listeners in there as well, which was nice.
Yeah.
They clearly preferred me, so thank you to anyone who's watching who preferred me.
Yeah.
Just
well, that's why it took you.
Yeah, that's why.
Fucking little bit of bait.
Well, yeah, no, it was cracking.
It was good. And before I forget as well, I said I'd give Colour by Kaz, the t-shirt printing company, a shout, because I left it completely last minute and went out on Saturday to try and get the t-shirts printed.
Yeah.
No one could do it for me. And I called them and he went, "Yeah, if you come down in the next hour, we'll get it done for you in half an hour." And they got it done for me.
Where about today?
They're in Surrey Hills.
Surrey Hills. Good on them. And the t-shirts are really good. It was just mine. Mine that night was caked.
Yeah.
Absolutely caked. And I don't think Abby wants to wash it because it just is covered in beer.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I mean, while we're talking about Aussie Reds as well, great seeing the Facebook groups, the supporters clubs, absolutely just alive with people just posting and celebrating. So I was talking to Wayne that night. He was meant to go out, and the weather was really bad in Adelaide, so he ended up staying at home and watching it.
Did he?
Yeah. The weather.
We asked him to come to Cheers with us as well.
I know.
Wayne.
Maybe next year we'll all be there together in Liverpool. But Wayne watched it from home, but I don't think it bothers him. I think he had a great little time watching.
Just on his own.
Couple of beers, 3 bottles of wine, watching the Reds.
Yeah.
And we'll move on now because we'll talk about it from a sort of Liverpool City perspective because Max was over there.
Yeah.
So we were getting content through all the time from Max. What an absolute legend he is. And he was sending through and we were putting them all up on the highlight again on Instagram on the stories for the trophy parade. And I've genuinely never been so jealous, but buzzing a little bit because me mates were enjoying it.
Yeah, 100%. It's horrible to not be there, but to know, I just want to give a shout out Redmen TV. The event they held looked brilliant.
Yeah.
Like brilliant. They had Kenny there, didn't he? And the Ragamuffins were playing. It just looked a party.
They do it good, don't they?
Yeah.
They do it well. Like.
I give them a bit of love.
All of those sort of venues and stuff look like they did really good events. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the good thing as well about like Jamie Webster, the success of Jamie Webster has sort of paved the way now for these other singers.
Yeah, to get out there and
do it.
And they're writing their own songs, aren't they? They're for players and whatever, and making songs for us, which is unbelievable. And that was all started from like the boss nights, really.
Yeah.
And then to see what that's growing into, and I just purely an economical point of view, think of the money that brought to the city.
Oh, huge!
Like ridiculous amounts of people.
Have you seen?
Was there 1.5 million people in the end? He said, were there?
Yeah.
For that weekend, that's just incredible.
Yeah. And I tell you what, I think fucking half of them were Australian. The amount of people I spoke to who were going. Every time I spoke to Max, he kept saying, I have looked at the flight, it's only X amount.
Yeah.
It's like, mate, you are going to get me divorced and I'm not even married.
Did you see Max, the banner Max had? That was brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah. And you know what? They never got to put it up.
Didn't they?
No, they never got to put it up. So actually, I've got the image.
Yeah.
So if you watch it on YouTube, it will be overlaid here.
Okay.
I'll put it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
But we did also put it up on Instagram as well. But we'll repost it as well.
Yeah.
But it was a really good banner, poking a lot of fun at
Odegaard and Arsenal.
Martin Odegaard and Arsenal.
Yeah.
So we'll let you have a look at that for yourselves. But so the day of the game, Jack. I mean, the good thing about the time of the kickoff was like I had a nap, and then I woke up to just thousands of videos of people getting ready to welcome the bus in.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Like seeing Adam and the Ravels all going the game. The bus coming in looked to me like just maybe one of the best bus entries.
That's
ever.
a beautiful bus.
That's a lovely bus.
Yeah.
The game kicks off, and
can I be completely honest with you?
Yeah.
I can't remember anything about the game.
Can't you?
I can remember everything after.
Yeah.
Lifting the trophy, Alan Hansen.
Yeah.
Klopp. I know all that.
Yeah.
But the game, what score was it?
1-1.
Didn't even know, mate.
Well, can you remember the double guard of honour?
Yeah.
So
Class.
Crystal Palace gave Liverpool a guard of honour, and then Liverpool gave Palace one for the FA Cup win.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean the game was one of them.
We're all watching it, aren't we? Going, we hope Mo scores.
Yeah, we hope Mo scores.
Yeah.
Maybe gets an assist.
Yeah.
And we were watching the game, and I'll be honest with you, I can't watch us and not want us to win.
Yeah.
Even though it was a dead rubber and all that, I didn't want us to get beat on the final day of the season, and for the rest of the country to be like, they lost on the last game, whatever. Because I hate that. But yeah, Grafenberg got sent off. Great red card. I would have took that red card any day of the week, because that was 2-0.
Yeah.
And then Mo Salah scores that equaliser. Alan Hansen. Let's talk about Alan Hansen.
Alan, mate, just to see him, because it got announced, didn't it, a few days before, that he was going to be the one to give them the trophy, or hand Virgil the trophy. And obviously he's had his health battles, hasn't he, over the last couple of years.
Yeah, he's been
he looks really well.
He does look well.
He looks well. And you can imagine the pride from his point of view to be able to do that. Obviously, Kenny was the one who gave the trophy to Jordan.
Yeah.
When we lifted it in 2020. So yeah, Alan Hansen to do that. But I found it nuts. Like, Van Dijk clearly knows who Alan Hansen is.
Yeah.
But the rest of the players are just like, who's this guy? Not knowing the legendary things he's done for the club. I thought that was nuts.
I think.
But I suppose they're probably in a state of daze anyway.
Yeah, they're in a daze. But yeah, I did think that was a bit bizarre because from a PR perspective, I was surprised because we were talking the other week how good the PR machine is of Liverpool, weren't we? But I was surprised because after they all won, they all went to the dressing room to get the new shirts. I'm surprised no one went, right, when you walk up, Alan Hansen, I can't remember how many league titles he's won. I think he's won like 6 league titles and whatever, right? Yeah. Alan Hansen's going to be there to give you a medal. Give him a fucking hug. You know what I mean? Like, anyway. But doesn't matter.
That's what you can do.
Alan Hansen gives Virgil a trophy.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, the man just looks good with the trophy.
He shoots it, doesn't he? He shoots it. He's the coolest footballer I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
He just oozes it, doesn't he?
Yeah. And you know what as well? I think sometimes when you see a team... When Chelsea won the Champions League, I remember all the photos you seen all night. Because, you know, I remember I watched the game live when they played Bayern Munich in Munich. All the photos were like Drogba with the trophy, Lampard, Terry. It was like no one could get hold of the trophy.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think Virgil handed the trophy over and just went, you boys go and have a party with that.
Yeah. Because she's coming home tonight with me, lads.
Yeah. And I tell you, the one player who held the trophy more than anyone else was Trent Alexander-Arnold. Sort of annoyed me. It sort of annoyed me.
Yeah.
It sort of annoyed me because it felt a little bit like the Trent show. And the TV didn't help.
No, everything the telly wanted was for Trent, wasn't it?
Was Trent crying and all this nonsense.
Look, Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards got us a transfer fee for him, mate.
Yeah.
He went for money.
Yeah.
He won the trophy. He got a send off.
Yeah.
Let's have it there.
He's a fucking legend, Reds.
There's a fee. It's weren't free anymore. We got the trophy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's get it out of our heads.
Yeah.
But the moment Real Madrid announced he'd signed, I unfollowed him on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be DMing him anymore anyway.
Look, he's gone.
Yeah.
And in 10 years' time,
yeah,
you know, people say, you know, they'll ask us about that great Liverpool team. And I will talk fondly about Trent.
Yeah.
There wasn't a player like him in the league who had the right foot like him. And, you know, the same things my dad would have talked about with those sort of players in the past, Stevie Highway and that. Like, he's a legend.
Phil Babb.
Did you ever see the video of Phil Babb sliding into the post?
Oh, did he did his nuts, didn't he?
Watch it.
I think I've seen it.
It's the most vicious abuse of a man I've ever seen.
Mutilation.
Yeah. But the whole, you know, seeing Klopp in the crowd. You know what, as well? When we won the league in 2020, I remember saying to you, we used to do another podcast called Club Football, and we only did a couple of episodes, really. I think we did 10 episodes, and it was a Premier League podcast, and we always joked that we couldn't continue because we didn't care about Bournemouth against Crystal Palace, you know.
Yeah.
So we knocked it on the head in the end, but I remember saying on that podcast, when other teams win the league, there's always a picture of a player with the crown from the trophy on their head.
Yeah.
And Liverpool never did it in 2020.
Yeah.
And I said, I wonder if it's like a thing. It's like we don't like deface the trophy or whatever. But we did it this time, and the crown came off and it went on Mo's head.
It's the greatest photo, that.
Boss. Yeah.
And then it was funny watching them trying to screw it back on to the trophy.
Yeah. How many multi-million dollar footballers does it take to turn a trophy left?
Lefty loosey, righty tighty.
He just couldn't work it out, could he?
Yeah.
Amazing
that picture with Mao on it, that's iconic. Iconic, isn't it?
Yeah, and he deserves it. And I didn't see any other photos of players with the crown on the head.
No, just them.
I think there was a bit of an exception made there.
Yeah.
But Mo Salah has just proven himself to be one of the most canny pieces of business in football history, I think. Like, £35 million. It's an absolute bargain. How much did Gylfi Sigurdsson cost Everton financially? All right, well, Jack, the game was amazing.
Just under 16 years, I think.
The game was amazing. We stayed in the pub for a while after that to watch it, to watch the celebrations. And, like, you'd think you'd get bored of seeing a player lift a trophy and then give it to his mate, and then they lift the trophy. Yeah.
But we didn't, did we?
No. And I tell you what, there was one thing that stood out to me. And I think, again, there's a captain here. Is everyone, they went up to the Kop and they were behind the goal on the 6-yard line. They were all having their little moment, weren't they? Chiesa had 3 bumps, which was amazing. With the trophy. Yeah, fuck off, Juve, he's a cop, I know. And they kept trying to give the trophy to Szoboszlai. And Szoboszlai kept saying, no. You give it to him. And again, I wondered if it was an element there of a position we don't see, but perhaps a bit of a leadership role.
Thing. Yeah, well, he's captain of his country, isn't he?
He's captain of his country.
The problem is, though, he'd have ran up, and then he'd just put it just left of that post, wouldn't he?
Just left of the post, yeah. That one's for you, Louis.
Yeah, that's for Louis, yeah, it goes that.
But yeah, you know, and then I was thinking, oh, well, he's really good mates with Mo. He was really good mates with Trent. Obviously, Mo's the best player. Trent was the vice captain. So I think he's in and around there, like. So, you know, we talk about his numbers, but maybe there's a lot more to him.
What is going on behind the scenes?
Be
interesting to see that with the future bit of business that's going on. Oh, just on outgoings, have you seen? I think Carragher's gone to Brentford.
Yeah, good business staff for both.
Great number 2, probably the best number 2 I've ever seen him. And
I tell you what, he will be going in my fantasy football team.
Yeah.
I know this is un-Liverpool related.
Yeah.
But can I tell you something?
Go on.
From the bottom of my heart.
Yeah.
I've been with my partner for 5 years.
Yeah.
And probably for the last 4 years now, 4 years, her dad Mark has invited me to join his fantasy football team league with his mates, and the first 2 seasons I was dead bottom, mostly because I forgot to pick my team and stuff.
That's why I don't
like
do it.
Haaland was injured for like 3 months and I still had him as my captain, stuff like that. Anyway, then last season I came 6th or something. It weren't bad, and then this year I was 2nd in the league going into the final day. And I won the league by 8 points.
Did you?
Yeah.
Congratulations, mate. League champions everywhere, isn't it?
Where's my trophy?
Where's my medal?
So I woke up in the morning and I was like, oh, you know, I was so hungover, and I checked and I was like, it was so good.
Just play for money?
No, I wish.
I was going to say it.
I'm going to suggest it next year.
I was going to say the tax man will be after that now.
$50
Your ABN number.
$50 buy-in.
Oh, class.
Yeah.
Fair play. Well done.
Yeah, well, I've been getting so much shit for the last 4 years. You know, it was about time. And I think most of them are Man United fans as well. I checked the trophy parade. 1.5 million people.
Insane to think about. When you put, I don't know, what's Liverpool? Probably 800,000 now?
I didn't think it was that
population.
Big, but yeah, I think
Merseyside, I mean.
Yeah.
And then you've got to think, like, half of them are Blues, aren't they?
The better half, yeah.
Yeah, so there's like an extra 1 million or 1.1 million or something in the city.
Yeah.
Which is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I spoke to someone who was in the UK travelling, and I said, oh, did you go to Liverpool? And they were like, oh, we were going to, but I think there was a big match on because we couldn't get on the train.
There was a big match on?
Yeah, they tried to get the train from Chester.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get on the train. So, you know, Chester's like, what, an hour away from Liverpool?
Yeah.
And a huge Liverpool population there. So you can just imagine the amount of people coming in. Oh, by the way, Wrexham are coming over to Australia, and if anyone has got a contact with Paul Mullins, let us know.
Yeah, Paul Mullen is a big Liverpool fan.
Yeah.
And I think he's from Liverpool.
Yeah, I think so.
If anyone has got any connection to Wrexham AFC and or Paul Mullen,
Yeah. Super Paul Mullen.
let's get him on the podcast. Well, they're here.
Yeah.
I think they're here on June the 15th.
Yeah.
Or July the 15th.
I love
He'll be
him.
off with me dates.
I absolutely love him.
I'd love to have him on.
And
if anyone's got a connection like that can sort that out, let us know. DM us.
I've got a connection, but I really don't want to text Ryan Reynolds over it. Like,
Well, he did. He screwed you over, didn't he?
yeah,
For Deadpool.
yeah, I was meant to be Wolverine, wasn't I? Yeah. Trophy parade.
Yeah, I still don't think it's right what he did.
No,
Fucking Hugh Jackman. What's he ever done?
I know. Well, he's a triple threat, isn't he? He can do it all.
Yeah.
I watched the video this morning.
Russell Crowe, I can understand.
Yeah, well, Russell Crowe's a bit more. You know what I mean?
Rugged?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's every man, isn't
Yeah.
he?
Yeah.
You know,
Like, what experience has Hugh Jackman got to play Wolverine and Deadpool as well?
he looks like Wolverine, doesn't he? And I'll be honest with you, I do love Hugh Jackman.
Do you?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
I do love Hugh Jackman.
Great.
Yeah, I was watching, like, you know, look, there's so much content out there. It's hard to like put your finger on it.
Can I tell you my favourite?
Yeah, of course.
John Henry's wife. Her Instagram was fire that day, mate.
Yeah.
She's a proper scout bear there, mate.
Yeah.
Smoking a cigar just like that with the lads. John Henry looked like our Nanny Rose.
John Henry,
With this fucking...
who, by the way, is like, obviously, like, I don't know what the vitamins they give this guy, but he's doing really well for himself.
Yeah.
And
Mostly Viagra. What a legend of a bloke he is, man. That was Poncho on drinking a Carlsberg.
But I tell you what, the only thing that was stiff that day was the stiff drinks, mate, because he looked like he was having a boss.
Yeah, they all did, didn't they, on that bus?
Yeah.
And then Calvin Harris being on there.
Yeah,
Obviously,
that became a bit of a
that's
feature,
like a feature,
doesn't it?
isn't it? Yeah.
Calvin Harris, yeah.
Yeah. All the players, they just... what I'd give to be on that bus,
Oh, yeah.
I'd drive it.
Yeah. I clean the toilet me with a cigar like that. One kiss is all it takes.
Yeah. Seeing her, yeah, on the strand, seeing her come in and oh, class, absolutely class.
Well, that's where Max was down there, I think.
Yeah,
Down the strand.
And the fact the lava bears were completely
just red.
I seen a video and it said, "I hope you're not scared of heights," and it's a bloke stood on top of a building, on the edge of the building, just looking down at the bus and all the fans. Class, absolutely brilliant. But from what I heard, considering they had 4 weeks to plan, the trains, everything was a nightmare in the city. Like, to the point where, and I want to give a big one up here for the Reds, the amount of people I've seen on Twitter offering beds for people to stay who were stranded in the city, offering lifts to like Manchester, Alderley, all these places.
Yeah.
We'll just get you home, and obviously that did have something to do with the event that happens.
Well, let's talk about the event because it was a horrible thing to wake up to, because I weren't going to watch the trophy parade live because I was in bed.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I was nearly dead.
Yeah.
After Sunday night.
Yeah, the biggest hangover of my life. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I didn't watch the trophy parade live. I got up in the morning, I thought I'll watch it, whatever. And I seen a message in our family WhatsApp group back home. And our cousin Johnny, he's great, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's boring, but he's great. Like,
He's boring, so he has like 3 beers.
Yeah.
And he's the best fella.
yeah, and then he has 5 beers and he's an arsehole.
Sorry, Johnny.
No, he's great. He's great. I think he listens. So, yeah. And he took his 2 boys, and they went down there. I knew they were going down there anyway. And the first message I seen in the morning was people asking Johnny if he was all right. And then, yeah, just going on, I went straight on Sky Sports News then to see what was going on, and I just couldn't believe it.
Honestly, we so that would have been Tuesday morning here, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And we wake up at like 5 a.m. anyway, and at like 10 to 5, my missus put the light on next to her bed, and she went, "There's been an attack in Liverpool," and my heart just sank.
Yeah.
Because that was like the messaging coming from, we didn't know how many people, whatever. Just the amount of people are called. Optus are going to have me off, by the way, the amount of people are called. Text, just making sure everyone I knew was all right. Because obviously we knew there was a lot of people injured, but we didn't know any more than that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in these times, the videos are straight up of what's unfolding. And I just want to say, the amount of people who stormed that car after it happened, I take my hat off to every single one of them, because let's say this was a planned attack and there was a device or something in that car, and their first response was, we need to stop that car.
Yeah.
Not get out the way. The first response was, we need to stop this car, and that car could have had anything in it. So, yeah, but it's still horrible. I said it to you, didn't I, a few days after? I've started watching the stuff from the parade now, because I don't want that day to forever be tarnished with that.
And we can't.
Yeah.
We can't, I did the same thing. I sent messages. The Revs back in Liverpool, we'd messaged them, and they said that they were all right. And
I rang Adam.
Yeah.
And he's singing.
Yeah.
We are Liverpool. Yeah. And he goes, "You alright, Jack?" And I go, "You alright?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm fucking sound, lads. Nice one, though." And then he put the phone down.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, glad you're alright anyway."
Yeah.
So, it was... that's your first response, and you just want to check on your people.
When it was clear everyone was alright.
Yeah.
And just trying to get our head round it a little bit. Obviously, there's been an arrest made, and there's been 7 charges pressed. There's 29 people injured, I think. 29.
I think it's a bit more, I think I've seen 2 numbers reported. One was 47, the other one was 56. But, obviously, more of that's going to come out, innit? Yeah. And it will come out. But genuinely, the injuries that people are going to have to live with, I've seen a few people who are quite fortunate where it's like broken ankles and broken arms and stuff like that. And that's the best you can hope for, really.
Yeah.
But the psychological, damage, and that's going to play on their lives now.
Yeah.
Big crowds, and you know what I mean? It's not nice at all.
Yeah.
But obviously, we both said last week we couldn't record the podcast because it was too raw.
Yeah, and our heads were battered, weren't they?
And it just didn't want to talk. It was hard to approach that last week in any way other than how we both would have got on here and, been so upset or angry, or, you know what I mean? Whereas at least, the dust has settled a little bit and we can have a considered conversation about it. Whereas last week, Tom messaged me and he was like, "What do you think?" And I was like, "There is no way I can talk about this."
Yeah. And we'd, my idea on it was that, first idea was that, no, we should make a podcast because this is what we do, and we should be celebrating. There's no way I could have done it.
No.
There's no way. And to be honest as well, it looks like those people, there's been no deaths.
Yeah.
And I think I'm not putting light of the damage it'll do to people. But I think the fact that there's been no debts, people can try and go on with their lives and stuff, and we can sort of not draw a line under it. I say that term, but not draw a line under it, but put it in a box where it is, and try and enjoy this moment, because these moments just don't come all that often. And to be honest as well, wanted to say to the people who messaged the pod as well, thank you so much, because I think obviously we've got so many friends here.
Yeah.
If anyone was there, or not, people who were just here in Australia who were upset by it, feel free to just send us a message and we'll have a crack with you. But the City Liverpool Jack's been amazing. They've raised over £50,000 to support people who were affected by it. So I think, in a very trying moment, the City of Liverpool has come out pretty.
And that's what I mean. Like I said before, the people offering rooms and lifts and they're trying to help out, and that's what makes me love Liverpool, man.
Yeah.
The football teams are a huge part of it. Don't get me wrong, but those instances where you step up, and Liverpool fans all around the world step up like that together and support each other, is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sends a message if you need to. Obviously, we prefer to hear everyone's great stories from the day.
Yeah.
But if you feel like you need to talk about it, send a message.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Please do.
I'm mental health first aid trained,
Oh yeah? Well, I'm having a fucking shit day.
Yeah, you always are, mate.
So Jacko, I mean, that was the trophy parade, and next week's guest was there.
Yeah.
Travelled from Queensland, I think.
Oh wow, yeah.
To Liverpool for that. Was in the stadium for the game.
Oh, Jammy Get.
I won't say his name just in case something happens and he can't come on next week, but he's
and
such
and then you've got to lie about who it is.
He's such a great fella, and he's been sending me all content and stuff, and so I'm looking forward to that next week to sort of hear it from the horse's mouth. No offence, Jack, about what happened there last week. Jacko, big news this week has come out the club. Legend, the voice of Anfield, George Sephton, is retiring.
Yeah.
You had the privilege, I have to say the privilege, because you interviewed George on
West Underground,
your old podcast that you used to do with Hamish.
Yeah, and he George did the intro on our podcast here, didn't he?
Yeah, yes, George is the first voice you hear.
I know you think it's us doing a
George impression,
but give it a go.
This is Reds Down Under podcast, the best place to follow the Reds in Australia.
That's not very good, that.
Enjoy the show.
Are you doing Denzel Washington?
Yeah.
This is the Reds Down Under, the best place to follow the show in Australia. Enjoy the show.
I think mine was better. Let us know in the comments which one was worse.
But yeah, what a lovely guy.
Yeah.
Genuinely, what a lovely guy. He, I don't think I've ever mentioned where we lived in Liverpool, but he lives about 5 minutes away from there.
Yeah.
Really top bloke. What a servant he's been for the club. I am trying to maybe get him somewhere. I know he's the busiest man on the planet at the minute, because he's BBC,
he's a legend,
Sky.
isn't he?
They all want to talk to, and that's, and I'm glad his swan song, his final season, was that, and I hope he has that ticket for life if he wants it. Big shoes to fill, whoever takes that job.
Yeah.
Big shoes to fill, and I hope they take the approach that George always had, of supporting local music and being. George gave me so many great moments of playing my songs at Anfield, like genuinely massive moments of hearing myself on the speakers with that rest of the stadium. And I hope the next person who takes that role is the same and champions music the same way, because he's got great stories. I'm not gonna. We won't put the link in for the podcast with George, because hopefully we get to have one with him.
Well, that's a big difference anyway. Go and have a look on West Underground.
But, the Voice of Anfield. He wrote that book. What an amazing guy. What an amazing career he's had.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy he got the moment with Kenny. on the pitch, and you know, it'll just be strange not hearing that.
Yeah, it's so much of what...
Scorer of Liverpool's first goal. He loved that one. But yeah, George, what a legend, man. What a legend.
Yeah.
And I hope, you know, he can just enjoy...
As a fan?
His retirement now and just be a fan.
Yeah. Absolutely great guy. Absolutely great guy. As Jack said, he did the intro for the pod, and when we were starting the podcast, you know, you're looking to show people all the time, like, hey, look, we're credible. Like, you know, we've got opinions about the Reds, but, you know, we're credible, like, we'll do our best to entertain yous and whatever. So to get George on was big. I mean, I've lost all credibility with the Trent Stein video, but look, you live and learn, don't you?
You live and learn.
Jack, talking about players who are coming in, obviously Jeremy Frimpong signed from Bayer Leverkusen.
Yeah.
We talked about it last week with Hainsey and Wayne. Great signing, eh?
Yeah. Oh, unbelievable signing. And it was the natural one, wasn't it? It's the natural signing we all thought we were going to make. He looks like he gets it straight away.
Yeah.
Seen a story, he was supposed to sign for Liverpool when he was a kid, but he didn't have a car. So he went to Man City instead in the academy system. He looks like he gets it. There's another Dutch player there. And they all just seem like a good gang of mates, don't they? And they all, you know. And the video of him with his dad, and he's saying, "Dad, I've signed for your club."
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
It's great, that.
Yeah. That buys him like 20 games.
Yeah. Oh, well, look,
you know what I mean?
He
can get nutmegged 18 times in a row, and we'll be like,
yeah.
He gets it. Well, you know, I hope it works out massive. And the price for him and everything for the age of him. It's great, isn't it? So, yeah, it's a really good sign. It's one we all knew was coming, don't get me wrong, but
you've still got to get it done.
Still got to get it done.
Two players who it looks like, from everything I read, Fabrizio Romano and all that, David Ornstein, is two players that looks like it's going to happen, Vert and Carragher.
Yeah.
Which is huge. If we get them, I think the Carragher one will happen.
Yeah,
I think
the Vert one's a funny one, isn't it? Because what was the second bid for £105 million?
Plus, apparently, either Kwanzaa or Elliott.
Yeah,
but you never know. You never know with these transfer things. But I think it would actually be a really good move for either. Kwanzaa or Elliott.
Yeah, it will be a great move for them.
But you know, if we get him, I was thinking about this. If we sign Vert, I think he will be, at the time of signing, the greatest signing I've ever seen in my history since 1990.
Yeah.
Because we had players who we signed who were at a good level, but went on to be legends. But there was no one we've signed
who's like who's
already there.
Yeah.
We don't sign that.
We don't sign that marquee signing, do we?
Like Carragher Mascherano, we got from West Ham. He became a world class player.
Van Dijk and Alisson, but Alisson was great, but he weren't. You know what I mean?
Alisson was the closest to it.
But Van Dijk, we knew what we were signing.
We knew Van Dijk was good.
Yeah.
We knew he was better than our
options. You're talking like world stage.
I'm talking about like a player who, you know, if money wasn't an object, you know, if Real Madrid weren't skint.
Yeah.
Right?
Because that 10 million that
Yozza
and Eddie just got.
Yeah. Like if Real Madrid weren't a bit skint, then he'd be going there.
Yeah.
He'd be going to Barcelona if Barcelona weren't skint. If City weren't breaking all the rules in previous years, he'd be going there. So to sign that player because we've got the cash for him, and that he wants to come and play for Liverpool, is just like the biggest marquee sign. Not just because of the transfer value, but because of the player that we're getting. So yeah, I think it's an interesting one, and then I think we still need a number 9.
Yeah. But I think the kind of number 9 is going to change. I had a conversation with a couple of people, I can't remember them, I apologise, I was very drunk that night and shit, about number 9s, and I went, I wouldn't put it past Liverpool to keep Núñez till January and see how he does.
Really?
With him behind. I just wouldn't put it past us. Because the money for Núñez will still be there.
Yeah.
So if you're not going to get who you want to go and buy...
Which has been the philosophy of the club.
Which has been the philosophy of the club, is you wait and get them when you can. We don't really go like second option, third option. So I think the fact they've got him, he's still 24, 20, whatever he is. I just have a feeling the club will go, all right, well, let's just say till January. Because
Wirtz will give him 3 chances a game, at least. Yeah.
And I think how we play will... things are going to change. Things will change. So I do believe that unless the club are like, yeah, we're going to get our man and that's the price we want to pay, I wouldn't be surprised if they held off on the number 9. Yeah, it just wouldn't surprise me.
That's interesting. Another thing as well is, I mean, who's not to say that actually Arne Slot hasn't gone, you know what? He's not going to get the numbers of a top number 9, but you know what? Actually, I really like Luis Diaz in there. He gives me so much.
I think, but to be honest, I think Diaz has gone. His missus put something on Instagram, and it was about like from the moment we got here, and it felt a bit goodbye. You know what I mean?
See, it's interesting because I thought it was a bit of PR to say, hey, look, yeah, because like. If you want, you know, if Barcelona come out, apparently what the asking price was 85 million or something, is what I've read this week. And again, you never know, but the asking price 85 million. If Barcelona were willing to pay it,
yeah. What if they just went, yeah, Mal?
Well, serious, this could be a bonkers thing to say, right? But they're skint.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So why not say, all right, they probably seriously value Lamar at like 140 million.
Yeah.
Something like that. So what if Liverpool genuinely went, all right, well, we'll give you Luis Diaz and 70 million. So we'll replace him by giving you Luis Diaz.
Yeah, it's not the craziest thing to think about. But I mean, not that I think they do it, but I mean, and also the fact it would be nice just to take the piss and throw 150 million
at him. Because you could get him.
No, well, more at the club.
Yeah.
Because that's what they did to us.
Yeah. But...
And not that I think we will. We're starting a rumour here, your Miles coming to Liverpool. But, like, just genuinely, for what they done to us in the past.
Or is there another player in there? Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I don't think he's the answer, but, like
Rafinha,
maybe the club would look at, like, a Ferran Torres and go... There's a player in there, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, who knows? And, you know, again, another
Lewandowski.
you know, it's like
we need a number 9.
We need a number 9.
Yeah, give us 60 and Lewandowski.
He'll give us 12 months, right? When Jota's fit, he probably plays. When he's not, Lewandowski plays. I'm not like, look, we're just.
You're getting excited. You're getting excited, aren't you?
Lewandowski 25.
Oh mate, that'd be the maddest thing ever.
Anyway, so it'd be interesting to see what happens with the number 9. I think it is possible.
I to be honest, I see Diaz. I see him going Saudi, mate.
Yeah, well, I think they're the only ones who will pay the money.
Yeah, the only ones who can.
Yeah. And like Liverpool are in a position where you don't want to sell to Barcelona.
Yeah, because you're worried about... To be honest, Saudi's created a perfect little place for us.
Yeah.
To send the players.
It's like a tax avoidance thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but for us, because the tax is they're not going to score 2 past us in the Champions League.
Yeah.
And they go and earn as much as they want. And
I know, but then wait, right? Because what's going to happen here, and I can see it all over, right?
Yeah.
Is that English clubs, Spanish clubs, Italians, Germans, they'll keep selling to Saudi, right? And they'll keep buying these players. And their league's a joke, right? Their Champions League, with respect, is nonsense.
Sorry, Bobby Firmino.
Right? It is. Everyone loves to win a trophy, fair enough. But it's chalk and cheese, right?
Yeah.
You might as well go and win the MLS.
Yeah.
Right? But it's not going to go down too well in Asia, that comment. But that competition will gain more credibility because the teams in it are better. That competition's going to keep getting better. The Asian Champions League is going to continue to get better, right? Wait. And then what's going to happen is this Club World Cup nonsense, right, that FIFA will come up with, the prize is 100 million. At some point in the next 10 years, those clubs will be competing with the top European clubs for that trophy.
100%, yeah.
They won't just be turning up as parts to make up the outfit, like.
Yeah.
And then I think then we will be in an interesting position where European football's monopoly, essentially, will potentially move out, which is a good thing for world football. It's not so good for us, I don't think.
No.
Anyway, Jack, before we move on, I'd like to remind people about this shirt. Can you pass me it?
Yeah.
So, Jack's show to the camera.
I was just how gorgeous was Torres. He's handsome, wearing.
So this is the 2008-2009 Liverpool home shirt, the classic Adidas, signed by Gerrard, Mascherano, Torres, and Jamie Carragher, and we're giving it away on our Instagram. If you want to win it, go to our Instagram feed, go on the top post, and you'll see a shirt giveaway there. Give us a follow, tag 3 Reds, put it on your story, give us a tag, and you enter the competition. And that'll be drawn on the 23rd of June. It's nice, isn't it? Yeah. I wish I had it.
You should have given it to me.
I know. Well, I got given it to give away. And
So you're going to stop the podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's lovely.
Oh, God. All right, Jeff, I've got something.
Okay.
It's a new section of the podcast. And it's called It's a Fact. Which is Rafa.
Yeah.
We were like to talk about facts, Mr. Ferguson. No, I lost it. I went 21 times.
Do it again.
We were like to talk about facts, Mr. Ferguson. It was better.
No, I mean just do the whole thing where you say, and we've got a new section, and it's called, and then we'll just put Rafa in, and then you can do it. And
I'm not editing it. I'm leaving it in. So the idea of this is that we tell you a fact that you might not particularly be interested in or care about, but we're going to do it every week. And here it is this week. Liverpool once won a match without taking a single shot on target. In 1999 against Sheffield Wednesday, the Reds won 1-0 thanks to their own goal by the opposition. We didn't have one shot on target the whole match, one shot on goal. And the Reds won. That was a fact.
It's a fact.
Mr. Ferguson. Right, Jeff, let's wrap up the podcast with our player of the season. So as we said earlier, the obvious player of the season is Mohamed Salah. Because he's a record breaker, he's done the business, he's took us to the title. Yeah. But we wanted to really celebrate the other players who were in that team, which has delivered us a famous 20th, yeah. Let's start with you then. Who would you go for? You get one. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put yours, mine, and a couple of other options on socials and see what the people think. And whoever wins it, wins it.
I think I've got to give it the man who I think will be the next captain.
Yeah.
Alexi McAllister.
Alright, why McAllister?
Because you said you wanted to bring him as yours. I don't know why you let me go first. Why'd you let me go first?
Oh my God. Do you have any idea what it's like, right? Doing a podcast with your brother and you're trying to produce him. It's impossible.
I'm unproduced withable.
Alright, we can both go McAllister. Why are you picking Macca?
No, honestly, it's
Just lean back for it.
It probably is.
It's McAllister.
No, it's Van Dijk. No, it's Virgil. Of course, it's Virgil. I think, you know, like McAllister's been unbelievable this season. It's the things. Can I go McAllister as well?
Yeah.
I'll go Van Dijk.
Okay.
It's McAllister though, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's McAllister.
For me, it's McAllister. You know what though? I think, to be fair, this is really boring, right? Because we both agree it's McAllister and Van Dijk.
Yeah.
Because I think, obviously, if you take Van Dijk out, the team
crumbles, doesn't it?
You're snookered, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're absolutely snookered. He's been, you know, we did it through the week talking about our 2022 and 2025.
Yeah.
I've spoken about it with Wayne as well, about where Van Dijk is in that sort of, you know, that group of legends. And if you take Virgil van Dijk out with a different football team, we wouldn't be as controlled.
That confidence you have behind you with them being there. But this, like McAllister, it's the things he does that if you're not watching him, you don't even realise he's doing. And like, I played midfield. Nowhere near the fucking level of Cali, as I call him.
You don't say, yeah.
But to see what he does with the ball, without the ball, he makes that team tick, man.
Yeah.
And he gets it. And I go back to the Tottenham game where the game's coming to an end, he comes out and he's got the big smile on his face. He just gets it.
Yeah.
And he will be our next captain once Van Dijk packs in 10 years.
I think you might be right.
10 years.
I think, like, I sort of base it off, if you took them out the team, where would we be?
Yeah.
Ali was out the team.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, Ali's had an unbelievable season.
Yeah.
But Carragher came in with fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. Brentford are going to get themselves a top goalkeeper there. Trent, take him out. Bradley was doing well. You know, Kanate, you could argue that the jump down to Qantas quite fast.
Yeah.
Robbo, Shimakash. Robbo didn't have a great year. Shimakash played all right when he played. So you go through the team, you do that. Grafenberg, Curtis Jones can do a good job in there, and so can Endo.
But I think Gravenberg's, if like whoever's on next week, it wouldn't surprise me if they go Gravenberg, because it's the key players of the season.
Yeah, for sure.
And like the breakout Gravenberg's had this season has just been unbelievable. No one expected that.
Yeah. But I think for
young
me,
player of the year as well.
Young player of the year. And I'm not like discounting it, but we're trying to work out who it is, who our Reds Down Under player of the season is. And so I think we'll put forward Van Dijk and McAllister.
Yeah.
We'll put it on socials this week, and we'll put a couple of options on there as well for other notable players, maybe Grafenberg, Kanate. Lucho's had a really good year. You know, Szoboszlai became more and more important in the team.
And Cody,
who, you know, when he was fit, that left wing was his. So much to the point, I think, you know, the manager was comfortable playing Luis Diaz down the middle all season. So let us know what you think. I think we've pretty much done a pod, mate.
Pod done.
Thanks to Jack for coming on again.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.
It's always good to have you on.
Yeah, thanks, mate. No, I enjoyed it, and it was like I say, I thought it was the right move. We didn't do one last week, but I'm glad we got back to it this week. And
we needed to, didn't we?
Yeah.
We needed to.
And we're back. The Reds are still champions.
The Reds are still champions. Keep that. Yeah. We're going to be champions for a while, but look, I know the season's over, but we're going to be continuing on. So don't you worry about that. We've got loads of stuff coming up. Maybe I can give you a little preview. We're going to have... We asked the question of the week about Liverpool legends. Australian Liverpool legends. You sent in your questions and your thoughts. We are going to do that. We're going to do it with Wayne as well. We're going to do an episode with a person close to us, and we're going to look at the Reds in the 70s and the 80s, which is a glory period for the club. Yeah. We've got a guest on next week who was at the trophy parade, so we're going to be doing that. We've got another guest on that we were going to do earlier in the year, but we're going to do it in the post-season, I guess. He's a United fan, so we're going to be talking about the rivalry and that. Yeah. I think we still wanted to do our cult heroes as well. So there's loads of content that we will be making in the
obviously the transfer incomings and outgoings.
We're going to be covering that topic. And you know, fortunately, we've got Wayne there from the L File, so he's quiet, that fella, but he's got his finger on the pulse, that fella. Yeah, he's the Godfather. I call him the Godfather.
He's I love him.
He's good, isn't he? So look, thank you so much to everyone who's supported us this season. It's been really good.
And we continue. We walk on.
We do. We walk on. We do walk on. As I say, we got 1,000 views last week on the podcast, which I was buzzing when I looked at it. It's really big. Couple more thousand with Phil Bournemouth Stadium, so let's have a crack at that. Please do continue to pass the pod on to people like you know. And as well, a shout out to people around the world, because we get the stats for who watches the podcast, listens to the podcast.
It's not just in Australia, is it?
No, well, I have to say, the United States is doing quite well in the rankings.
You know what's mad about it?
Well,
you slagged off the MLS before.
Well, I mean, look, the MLS is a growing league. Football in America is growing, but let's call it what it is. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? The UEFA Champions League is the epitome of club football. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have slagged off Asian in America, but well, it is what it is now, isn't it? So thanks so much for everyone for listening. This is the longest outro ever. This is Reds Down Under. I've been Tom, that's been our kid Jack, and we'll be back next week. Up the piss boiling Reds.
We are the Reds Down Under, and this is our podcast.